Welcome back to the old Doctor Who show. My God, Dan, it's been a year. Has it been a year?
No,
Season one. It feels like a year.
We had a holiday special.
We did have a holiday special.
To the world.
I can't even remember it. I can't even remember it. I couldn't remember a single thing that we've done.
It was a hotel. It had the
hotel
Dairy
Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back.
Now we're here.
Somehow I was like, okay, yeah. We'll do a Twin Peaks podcast, and Doctor Who's way in the future, and not expecting the two ships to collide in the middle of the night. But here we are.
They are going to be. It's going to be a rough road for Mr. Grissom coming up here. But speaking of which, if you're watching us and you've enjoyed the old Doctor Who show and you want more of us, we do have a Twin Peaks podcast, which you can go back and listen to on your own time.
It's great stuff on that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to talk today with you about a little. I was going to say classic Doctor Who, but it's a new Doctor Who, the very newest Doctor Who.
Maybe it's a new classic in the making. We don't know. I don't know what your feelings are on this. Maybe you feel that way. So let's find out.
Let's hit the button, shake the crime stick. I don't even remember what we used to do. It feels like
the first time.
Right? It feels like riding a pony, taking the old stuffed pony out of the attic, next to moving the Christmas decorations aside, getting that bedazzled salad,
bedazzled salad
saddle, putting it on the stuffed pony, and just riding like you've never ridden before. Just out there, taking the shirt off, greasing yourself up, and just trying to earn a living and pay for that hosting.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
We're doing Doctor Who. This is the Robot Revolution, Dan. This is written by Russell T. Davies and directed by Peter Hoa. Of the, as you had pointed out, the
Hortown Horse.
The Hortown Horse. Hoa.
This is definitely a name of an episode that fits the meme of a random Doctor Who name generator, because it is the most nondescript name for an episode.
The two generic words meshed together, and the hope that something good will come out the other side. But did something good come out the other side? We're going to find out. In this adventure, we've got the Doctor. You know him. He's looking for a nurse, a lady to call his own. He's on the way. They've kidnapped these robots. They've kidnapped Belinda Carlisle, I believe.
I don't think that's right.
I believe it was Belinda Carlisle, because she had gotten a printout from some guy she went on a date with. And there was some Art Deco robots. And AI was involved. Or
sort of.
Was it?
Or was it? What a great lead up you got there. That's for the ages.
Dan, what did you think of this? What did you think of season 2 opener, and include your thoughts on how it compares to season 1's opener?
This was a fun episode, mostly because I love this companion, Belinda, Nurse Belinda, or as she's called later in the episode, the nurse.
You would say you're head over heels over Belinda Carlisle.
Jesus, I walked into that. Yes, I would. That's great. It's a fun episode. We get a whole lot of story compacted into a little 45-minute episode. The Doctor is his what we've come to know as exuberant / emo self the whole way through, which is fun. There's things about this that I think the overall change to coming over to Disney, or maybe it's happened before then, but it really feels like it's happened to Disney. It feels much more like they're trying to make this both a kids show, which it's always been, obviously, while also trying to appeal to a wider fan base. So you got things like very cartoony robots and the spaceship, but it has a great point of view for the production design, so that was kind of fun. Overall, it was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. I have to say, I'm never going to get over the ending of the previous season. The rug pull was always going to make me feel a little bit betrayed by the show. But whatever. Other than that, it was super fun. Eric, what did you think about this?
Dan, let me tell you, for those that are watching this for the first time, you've never heard the old Doctor Who show, you may not be familiar with the end of season 1, which broke my spirit.
It was
shattered me into 1,000 doves. that flew over the
A
garden of
volcano
your
and then
soul
went
and
into.
just unloaded dove poop all over the ground, and then they formed that dove poop into a circle, and then maybe there was a chance that circle was a portal to another realm, and how many yards away, and no, it's nothing, it's Sutek, it's Mrs. Flood, it's, yeah, so my expectations were zero, less than zero.
Yes. You had negative expectations.
I was hanging out with Robert Downey Jr., we
Jamie
were driving
Gertz?
around town, and I was just looking
James
for anything
Spader?
to take the edge off.
Wasn't James Spader in the back?
James Spader was involved. He
Blowing
was
lines?
like very friendly, very, giving the stuff out at first, and then before I knew it, I was in a motel working with a
In too
cowboy.
deep.
So I had no expectations. Didn't even want to do Doctor Who. I was like, pretty much shut the machine down. Do I really have to watch this? So I went in.
He was really close
With zero, and I loved this. I loved this episode. I thought it was so much fun. There's a couple things I don't like. I'll talk about the positives first and then end on the negatives. Is that right? Is that how you do it? Should you do it the other way? It doesn't matter. I'm going to start with the positives. As you were saying, the art direction is wonderful. I thought the style of robots, like I mentioned, it's like that Art Deco 50s robot look feel. It reminds me of like the art style of like Fallout. Especially like the Roomba looking robot, like the smooth edges and the really cool. I thought the cast is fantastic. As you talked about, the new companion, Varada Sethu. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I've mentioned her before because we knew she was coming. I love Andor, and she was on the show Andor. She is great. And like I felt like the way that they introduced her was really interesting. I like the fact that they kill that companion, or the previous companion early, and they give her like a reason for not wanting to go, and all of those things. Like just very high level thing. Very, very happy. I can get into the things I don't like that are general. I think they're General Russell T Davies issues that I have, which is constantly raising your subtext to text.
Yeah.
Like there's so many parts, like starting in the beginning, we have that 17-year prior flashback where she's talking to her boyfriend, and he buys her the star, and he says like, I know girls aren't good at maths or whatever.
Yep.
I don't think you need, excuse me, you don't need that line to know he's like a sexist, awful,
I think you need
misogynistic person. I feel like
why don't you?
That's one, because you can get that from the text. Like I don't think he would have ever have said that in real life, to say like, well,
yes,
I know that women are. It's like you do that through the dialogue and the story. You don't need to say this is a planet of incels when you're portraying a story. No. That like,
I'm with you on
there's
that.
So much stuff that's just, I feel I just would like it more if he pulled back. You don't always have to talk about what you're talking about. Like, show me a scene where a guy is talking to a girl that he clearly doesn't have respect for women, and I'll get that without you saying, I don't have any respect for whatever. I feel like it's a little clunky, the line.
Two things though. Yes, I agree. Again,
that's the least a kid's show.
This is a kid's show.
But what is that? I take issue with that. Like, it's a kid show.
It is.
You don't need to talk down to kids. You can, some of the greatest kid literature.
I don't think talking down at all. I don't think I was talking
down.
Doesn't
need to be. You don't need to spell everything out for kids.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that first scene at all, because I think it sets him up.
I feel like he doesn't trust his audience. He doesn't give his audience enough credit.
I disagree with you on the first scene. But I think it's okay the way that he was introduced, because it's not just that one line. It is throughout that entire chunk in the flashback. I do agree, though, with the fact that it's not that he's talking about what it's about. It's not only that, it's that it's also an inch deep. When she just says it's the planet of the incels, like as though that's supposed to be enough. And when it's like the AI generator, as though that's supposed to be enough. It is very shallow in these topics, and it's not supported by the rest. You don't have to keep talking about it and make, huge speeches about it, but it just so lightly touches the surface of what the idea is that it makes it diminishes it, makes it almost inconsequential. That I didn't like. I mean, the characterization of him being like, women are good, because to get the flashback, why did you break up with him? And he's saying like, when we're married, I don't want you to wear the skin tight clothes and no texting after
Yeah.
8 p.m. Like, that's great. I think that
That's
actually is
right. That's
fine.
what I'm saying. Like you have that already in that scene when he refers to her as Miss, and she's like, "Does it have to be Miss? Like, are you married?" Because that's where Miss came from. It was just a way of identifying women to potential males. Like, so you have that line in there. You don't need. I know girls are not good. Like, you know what I mean? It's like everything is always just
Okay.
like, that's what I'm just saying. It's just like there's certain lines where I feel like there's not enough faith that the audience is going to get the message. So they have to spoon feed too much stuff to you. And this was the least of it. Like later on, we're going to get a lot more of that. But again, I love this episode. So it's
Yeah.
these are
I'm with
just
you,
a
but
couple of
I'm
little things.
quibbling.
Like when we get later on, when we realize that it's like every ninth word, I think that and then at the end they do this. They have to do a super cut to show. You don't need to do that. A kid seeing that will the lines are every ninth word, and everybody is streaming this thing. You have a pause button, you have a rewind button. How exciting would it be for a kid to watch a scene and then rewind it and try, like we're doing our Twin Peaks podcast. I was 15 years old when that came on. The fun is figuring it out on your own. Like everything is always like they don't have enough respect or faith that the audience is going to get it, and it's okay for people not to know everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there should be some work. I don't know.
I
That kind of
get what
stuff
you
is
mean,
like,
but
okay, enough.
I guess I'm a little more forgiving of that, or maybe not that. Maybe it just didn't bother me as much. Yeah, is it heavy-handed? Absolutely. Is it right in your face to make sure you don't miss anything with big blinking lights on it? Fine.
I
It
feel
didn't
like that
really bother
diminishes
me that
art,
much, though.
To me, this is not the only show that does it. It's just there's more and more of that where people always complain about media literacy or whatever, and it's like because you don't have you're constantly giving people everything.
I wonder how much of it is Russell T Davies, period. I'm trying to remember back to his original era, and if it struck me that way then, how much of it is that Doctor Who has now become a much bigger global brand than it used to be. I mean, it's always been around, it's been big, but like now the Disney and the advertising push, are they trying to make sure that everyone catches it? How much of it is the people are watching it while also on their phones at the same time? So
I think it's
I'm not excusing it.
I definitely think it's that, and you're only making it easier for people to be on their phones.
I guess the alternative would be that people are gonna not catch everything and be like, I don't know, I didn't get it, or that they weren't as interested, or they missed something, so they're not gonna stick with it. I don't know what the rationale is behind it. I'll just say for me, this part didn't bother me as much. To me, it's the surface level kind of look at this thing we're talking about that people are talking about in popular culture, incels and AI, whatever. It seems so shallow to be almost meaningless, or worse, misses the point to a large extent. But anyway, I take your point. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, as I'll point those out as they go. But yeah, so this starts out with this flashback, as we mentioned. That's cold opening. We get into I don't remember if this new title sequence, or if it was different than last season.
It didn't strike me as
out at me that was like, oh wow, that's cool. But whatever.
Yeah,
we get the title sequence, and then we're watching the doctor, or we're with her, right? She's at the hospital, and the doctor's trying to find her. I felt like the pace was very good. Like I liked, it felt very frantic. I'm also watching The Pit, so like as soon as they were in the hospital, I was like, oh, this would be a great crossover, and you could bring Noah Wyle in. He would have been, if you're gonna have an American doctor. I feel like Noah Wyle in the 1990s when he was the librarian. Was that the 90s or the 2000s?
Yeah. Early
that era, Noah Wyle, he could have been a good American. All of our British fans are now shutting us down. But I liked it. Like it was a good like entry point into what's going on. And when they did that whole like glitch that's happening, like when she goes into the spaceship, I'm skipping over a bit, but
you sure are.
That was cool because it was like, oh, I don't know what's going on, and that's when I get the most excited. They eventually explain it at the end, kind of, but those are the things that I find more interesting. But what did you think of her?
That
Like,
that intro was perfect for her, and it felt like very familiar in a way. The doctor's trying to find her, and they keep missing each other slightly. It reminds me maybe of like a Tennant and Donna Noble sort of thing in the beginning of the fourth season of that. I don't know. There's just this moment of them trying to, like, him trying to find her. I will say the gag of him trying to steal her personal information so he can get her home, and then accidentally shuts down the power to a hospital.
how many people did he kill?
How many people died?
Like,
How many people
in the
died?
middle of surgery, like
It's just a whoopsie. It's just a whoopsie. No big deal. Trying to bring someone back to life now. But anyway, it would have been fine if he turned the lights back on immediately. But as far as we know, that hospital's never gotten its power back. But no, it's fun because you get to see her being very competent at her job. She's handling many cases, back and back to back to back. But she's also got this sense of humor that you can feel on her with the, who bit you? Was it a dog? Was it a person? Was it your wife? That's great. So you get her personality within the first 3-4 minutes.
no.
I thought it was great.
And the
pacing.
job that she has as a nurse, obviously, it's great. A doctor and a nurse, that's
Yeah,
perfect. How did that not come up before? Maybe it has in any number of outside media, but it's a job that is then going to come in handy later, or she's going to have a purpose later when we're in the the revolution, when she's with the rebels, and it gives her business always to be doing, and she becomes like a more important member of a team, or for making the story go forward, and not just someone seeing the universe through the doctor's eyes. And I thought that was great.
No, it's totally true. I just want to come back again to the fact that she is very good at her job.
Mhm.
So she's not this spectator, like you're saying. She's not just along for the ride. She is a person who is very good, and she has that purpose there. But it just shows her entire personality very quickly. It establishes her very well. So she's great. I loved her from the first minute.
Yeah.
First minute.
We
Perfect.
get to her apartment too. So the couple of things happen in the apartment, right? She's got roommates.
Yep.
At this point, they're not important, but some details that are interesting about her room. So she's got the star ownership certificate, diploma, whatever.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
hanging on the wall. But she's also got like posters of the sun and the moon, and there's like some other pictures of space. So like, in addition to the star,
Mhm.
which is a way of owning something, just like the miss and the marriage and all that crap. But she likes
sure.
space. Like,
Yeah.
she's got, like, she likes the heavens and space. So like, her decision or refusal to travel with the doctor, goes against her own interest, because she's been presented with, oh, this guy's dangerous. So it was
Yeah.
cool that you have like that conflict within her, that she is someone that actually likes the heavens.
Yes, and maybe part of it is she has this sense of duty, because she's saying, I want to get back. It's May 24th at 7:30 is my shift. I need to get back for the shift. Like, even though she's being offered this opportunity to travel the universe, this is her job. She's got to do it. She's got to get back to it. Yeah, I think it's great.
Now the robots come, Dan, and they kill a cat, which I thought was kind of mean.
Well, so you got the whole, the writing.
It was a funny exchange, but
you got the writing trope of save the cat. I guess the opposite is kick the dog is another like trope for it. So you get to show the evil villain right away. So I thought it was a funny little inversion. Though they don't show the cat, they just show the cat post zap, which I think was a very good thing, because I did not want to see the cat actually.
Yeah, you like hear the cat, right? The audio of the cat, and then it cuts over to the
and you see the
zap.
skeleton. Yeah, you got the zap.
But that was somebody's cat. Somebody is very sad. She says the name of the person. She's gone to a farm.
The cat's gone up to the farm, so it's okay. But who does she tell that the cat's gone up to the farm? Please tell the neighbor. Who's there, Eric?
I know. I saw Mrs.
Your
Flood,
favorite
and I was
person.
like, oh, it's all coming back. It's the
Here it
Ronnie. It's some kind. But then it's like, I feel so betrayed.
You should.
I don't want to give it anything. But she does break the fourth wall again, which is kind of cool.
Which is great. Yeah, she says, you ain't seen me, right at the camera. It's great. I had to go back and remember. So, yeah, Mrs. Flood. The only thing that comes to mind is the video that we posted previously of who is Mrs. Flood with your theories, which is terrific. But that we did see at the end of the previous season, Mrs. Flood all dressed in white on top of Ruby's building, saying that she's the doctor's going to be seeing nothing but pain or something like that in the future. So
yeah, and
we got this important thing with her.
We get Mrs. Flood from last season, right? She was dressed like Romana 1. And
she very much looked like Romana 1.
Yeah, she was wearing Romana 1's outfit. And then people had found, oh, she was also dressed like Clara. And she dressed like a number of the Doctor's companions.
Yeah.
Throughout all
and
of her appearances.
It's been confirmed that she will be in every episode of this season.
Okay. So they're building to something.
They're doing
the
that
fourth
thing.
wall is... what does that mean? I don't want to say all the stuff that I was thinking was happening.
We'll wait for Eric's next fan theory about what's going on. Where at 3:00 in the morning, he's posting frantic, but that's eyes bugging out.
Right. That's why it's like you can't do that. You can't put all this importance and stuff and then pull the rug out and be like, she's nobody, and then also expect people to put that same amount of investment into these others.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I like
Mrs. Flood's there. Mrs. Flood's there. She's living next door to Belinda. She was Ruby's neighbor, but when you zoom out, it does not appear to be the same neighborhood. So it's not like Ruby and Belinda were also neighbors as well. So whatever's going on with her, she's going wherever the story is going to be going. So she gets interesting.
Right. She gets shot into space. I talked about this.
Although, wait.
Yeah.
One last thing with Mrs. Flood. She does, she breaks the fourth wall and says, "You ain't seen me," but she does that as soon as she sees the Doctor.
Yes.
And tries to get out of his view. So
she doesn't want him to see her
in the previous season, like at Ruby Street. Like he interacted with her before.
He did. I'm trying to remember because I blocked a lot of it out.
She gets
killed in the very last episode in the beginning, as does the rest of the world. She is taking care of Ruby's
sort of taking,
right?
She's watching after Cherry,
but I don't remember if the Doctor and her ever interacted.
Well, not in that scene. I think in a previous, whenever we first
did they?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think because the TARDIS is out front of Ruby's house.
Yeah.
Does she? I know she's obviously talking to Ruby to go chase after him. I'm not sure if she actually talks to the Doctor. Well, I guess we could.
Hey,
people know.
Rewatch the first season, or I could just.
I will not be watching the first season.
Our old reviews. If you're watching it, whether or not. I can't remember if they literally met each
other. Actually had a scene.
If it was always just whatever. But yes, your point, she sees him and she's getting the hell out of there.
And then she says bye to Ruby as she's being taken away by the robots, and Ruby's like, not Ruby. Belinda is being taken away by the robots, and she's like, "Oh my god, my parents!" She's like, "Have fun, dear." It was cute.
All right, so we're gonna shoot into space, right? The really cool looking spaceship. I love the design.
Strong design. Oh, it reminds me of like Looney Tunes almost, like
Marvin Martian.
Marvin the Martian. Yeah, totally. That's exact with the big wide fins, very curvy. It was beautiful. I really did like that.
The effects were like, you can feel the extra attention to detail that they put into the effects. Like it felt very, more like a feature film at certain points. I felt the digital effects were very good. They didn't feel fake. Sometimes it just feels overly CGI. Like, I don't know, you usually watch those behind the scenes things. I didn't know if they were a big mix of practical and CGI.
They did in the previous season.
They did.
Yeah, they did in the previous. So this might be. The only thing I didn't like is the design of the robots being so big and cartoony, which is fine. But the faces, I don't like the emoji face thing, because they've done that in previous stories too.
I found it
where
charming.
They've used that. I feel like they've done it too many times, and so it kind of bugs me a little bit.
Fair enough.
That's the only quibble I had with it, other than
we shoot into space, right? Fun. We're in this rocket, and then she starts rattling off. Oh, it's not me. It's what's the guy's name? The secret behind
Alan,
the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Alan. Go after Alan, and she's first a TARDIS is following her. She's like, "Why is there a TARDIS out here?" Well, and then you get that wobble, whatever. The time is breaking at that point. But what were you saying about the TARDIS?
Well, she sees that there is a box out there.
Yeah, she doesn't know it's a TARDIS, right?
Only because I want to come back to that later. But yes, she sees the thing. But then they do that effect, like you mentioned earlier.
Cool. And
the way that they cut it, the stuttering of it was super cool. Especially when you come over to the Doctor and he's doing like the hand motion, and it goes, and then he catches like what is going on. Like,
it's a mystery. It's a
I do like
mystery,
that.
and then it's exciting. Like, you don't need to explain everything. So then we get to the part, and this was also very cool. Like, when they land on the space planet, whatever the planet that orbits her star, and all the robots are
Miss
there,
Belinda
and then,
Chandra.
the woman comes up. I don't remember any characters' names. I'll just
Her
call
name
her
is
Nice
Sasha
Lady.
55.
Sasha 55 comes up, and then she's talking, and then she starts that whole ninth word business where she's like, help us, or what she throws something in there, and then you as a viewer, you're like, oh, what's going on? There's something more interesting at play here than just a standard robot story. I thought that was great.
Well, she doesn't actually obey the ninth word thing in the beginning.
Oh, I assumed it was that.
Yeah, I rewatched it and just wanted to make sure. She kind of whispers it to her, but she explains, these are robot overlords, and they're dropping Belinda Chandra bombs on the rebels.
Yes.
And she just kind of takes a step forward and is like, please help us. Which
so
I guess could be read
then...
by the not this time. So maybe that could have been like,
because please help us is 3 words anyway. And then
So
at what point does
been...
the robot overhear? If you're talking to a robot, you're doing the every ninth word, and then Timmy robot comes in, and he's a 3 word. Like, when does his start? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think it all goes through Alan Budd.
They all share the Alan process.
It's all the Alan Budd. I think with this one, though, you could have read that as, these are our robot overlords. Please help us destroy the rebels. So maybe that's why they were like, this is fine. But Belinda knew that she was saying, please help us, the humans. So maybe that was how they got around that one. But
yeah, I was assigning that something I guess it wasn't getting.
Not quite, because we get that in the next scene. So we're coming into the, throne room, I guess. Sure. Yeah. This is when we get to meet our little space Roomba, who's doing the polish. I did like, so it's there. He's got the little rags on his paws, and he's polishing the floor in front of her. I think later when things are blowing up and it's running away and it has them flying in the air like that, I thought it was a very cute touch. It was a cute little robot.
It's cool.
Anyway,
the robots are cute. Then we get, the revolution breaks out in front of us after she's crowned Queen of the Stars or whatever.
But you notice the doctor, he worked his way,
he's a historian.
We don't know yet. We don't know that how long he's been there, but we do see that his hair's grown out. So like at first I was like, oh, something's different about him. And I didn't quite put it together. It's like, oh yeah, his hair's grown out. And we learn later he's been there for 6 months because of the time fracture.
We'll get to that, but not a very long time to work your way up to historian. He's like, I've been here for 6 months, and you know how long it took me to... It's like, that's actually pretty good. I feel like you should put at least 2 or 3 years as a new person before you're the historian of an entire people. You've only been there for 6 months, but it's fine. So then they get into the thing, and then what I want to get to is the doctor crying again.
Of course.
As he cried multiple times in season 1, and I believe we both said it was too much because every time it loses weight. This time is when he should be crying. Like, this was great because it was his companion. They clearly have a history. They're going to go off together, and now she's killed. This is a dangerous guy, and then he feels the emotion. How much more meaningful would that have been if he wasn't crying at, like, some of these points in season 1 where it's like, I think you'll be all right. You don't need to cry at that scene. He loses a little something. But this I would just wanted to highlight is perfect.
Totally appropriate sort of moment. The fighting with the robots and the lasers. We got the rebel troopers coming in through the ceiling, but you got what was his name? Sorry, I should have looked at this first. Manny shoots a spear through one of the robots' heads and completely destroys it. Spears, folks. Spears. What are we doing? We're shooting lasers at them, and they're not working. You're getting destroyed left and right.
I almost wish that, like, all of the rebels' weapons were primitive physical weapons, like spears and swords, and kind of like a Dune thing where, like, because AI has gone crazy and we can't use anything that's electric based, and they all use like primitive. They don't really do that. Like, they're out there throwing lasers and stuff out. I thought that would have been
for all of you
good moment.
Totally agree. Just for all of you keeping track, the first Dune reference of the episode. Just want to get that out there. Fantastic. But
I want to talk a little bit about Belinda Chandra, right? That's her name.
Yep, it is.
This is when I really fell in love with her as a companion. Takes no time before she's like immediately helping people.
When they get to the Undercity. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like all of a sudden she's just, helping people, and we just need people that are helping people, and I love that about her. And it was like, yes, and then it makes sense because this is what she knows, and she's taking advantage of what she knows, and it's just so great.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
mean, she sees another nurse there that's helping the wounded in the Undercity, and she's like, "Do you have IVs?" And the nurse says, "We have this and this and this and this." And I don't think those were like Earth terms, but she was able to like pick it up. Like,
Yeah, to
okay,
figure it
great.
out.
She's just like get right into it and start helping them. Then we get the moment with the X-ray blanket, which I think was really fun. So you get to see the internals of the Belinda Chandra kind.
Yes.
They have a combined, what was it, kidney and liver or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
it
they
was
have
cool.
different organs. The organs are in different places, and it's just like this.
Yeah,
I have one note here,
sure.
which is I feel like I wouldn't change anything because I think the scene works great. But once she puts the blanket on the other aliens, and it's like, oh, their organs are over here, and then he shows the double heart. She's super excited, but I feel like it loses a little luster when I've already looked at another humanoid creature that has a totally different internal system. The fact that he has two hearts, of course he has two hearts. I just learned that this other species exists. So if you tell me there's a third species, I've just been taken by robots. Like, she kind of accepts a lot of stuff right away. So it's like, is it that exciting that he's got two hearts? It's interesting.
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean,
if it had been reversed, like, and you saw the two hearts first, and then you saw, if that was supposed to be the more of the, whoa, wow, you have two hearts. That's fine.
I
That's
guess,
stupid.
yeah. But she was just like, I'm not one of Belinda Chandra kind. I'm another type of alien. She's just added to the list, she says, which I thought was kind of fun. I don't want to skip over the fact.
Yeah, I just one other thing in that before you get to another thing is, unless you were going to say this exact same point, the unimportant person that's important.
Oh no, tell me.
Well, that's what he's telling her. I'm trying to find you, like, and she's like, no, I'm just a regular everyday. And it's like, how many of these stories are the unimportant people that are important? Like, and I understand that's so many stories are like that, but it's just another one of those tropes that we're just getting in the show. And she's going to be something else. Like, he's implying a future, at least I'm taking it as like a future revelation is going to happen. Right, because
but that was the entire thing with Ruby.
Yes,
was that there's some important thing about her, but the important thing was that she's not important. I'm burned by that, and I'm very reluctant to invest a whole lot into all of this. He does indicate like someone sent me to find you because you're important. I can't tell you anything more about that, but whatever. It just makes it when you break your audience's trust in that way, and maybe not everyone feels this way, not everyone felt that way about it. I definitely personally did a lot. It just makes it harder to kind of dive into this one too,
because she's connected to the landmine episode, right? That was boom
yeah,
right, because she was a medic, and
we'll get that later,
but that's part of the
he has the flashback. You're right. He has the flashback in this scene, so he sees that. I just wanted to say the really quick throwaway thing was when she looks at his double hearts. She says, you have two hearts, and he says padam padam, which I thought was really funny because that's
I didn't pick up on that.
That's a Kylie Minogue song, Kylie Minogue in The Voyage of the Damned.
Okay,
it was a big hit last summer, so that's nice that it got the little shout out to Kylie in this episode. Very cute. Padam padam.
I talked already. This is when he explains the whole timey-wimey thing, right? That he's landed here 6 months ago, and then she landed there now. We'll get there at the end to kind of explain it, but I think it's just a paradox that's happened, and therefore all this stuff happens. One business with this is like, well, I guess, you have anything else on this? Because I want to talk about her betrayal in quotes of what happens.
Only because you mentioned the timey-wimey, I just did very much like the line, what am I, 6? When he says timey-wimey. Yeah. That's great. And the look on her face, the way that she delivers that line is deadpan and awesome, and like, you've got to be kidding me. I love that. So anyway, that's all. Go for it.
Yeah, here's just another one of my complaints about, I feel like that they don't have faith in the audience. And maybe I'm just misinterpreting this scene. So like when after she's been told already, you killed her. Like, it's all your fault by Guile from Street Fighter 2. I don't remember that guy's name. He looks like
Manny,
Gary Busey's distant cousin. So then she's doing whatever she's doing. I don't remember. She's like helping out. And then you hear what sounds like ADR of him saying the same thing again. Like, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
And what I don't know is like, is that her remembering what he said, or did they say, no, we need more of a justification for what she's about to do? Because I feel like you don't need it. She's going to explain it later, and it would have been more interesting to not have that line. I feel like it's been like added to be like, no, we got to know why she's going to go and do this thing, even though she's going to tell us later she's actually doing it to sacrifice herself. It stuck out that whole, like, because it feels like ADR of like, it's supposed to be happening, like she's overhearing it, and now she's like, I'm gonna go turn this Roomba on and get these robots, which is kind of a dangerous move because those robots could have just wiped everyone out anyway.
Yeah, they could have killed everyone and just taken her, but she was betting on the fact that they would listen to their queen, even though she's a queen in name only.
Anyway, a little nitpick about some of this stuff.
How dare you?
I do like that this enemy is new. You know, even if for whatever shallowness or whatever that you had brought up about generative AI and all of that stuff, it could have been the Cybermen. This could have been a Cyberman story. I mean, you have a similar conceit of robots and trying to take over or whatever.
Merge them together.
Yeah, I like that it was a different type of enemy or whatever. Which is good. I always like new things.
Yeah, I mean, revisiting some similar ideas from the past, but freshening it up a little bit. Yeah, I think it was nice. Sure.
The generative AI part, we find out it's not that. It's Al.
It's not. It has nothing to do with anything.
I wish that it was. I wish that it was AI, only because it would have been fun to have a generative AI that like always got things a little bit wrong, like people with extra fingers, or like just if you're gonna like put a flashlight on what's destroying culture right now, it would have been good to have more. I feel like it would have been more fun to play with that. But instead,
that could have been
what were you gonna say?
That could have been the explanation for the ninth word thing or something like that. That could have been you could have tied it in a little bit better. Sure,
right. Yeah. But instead, it was just a gag because it's whatever.
Al generator. It ends up saying Al generator instead of AI generator. Al generator, I guess. I don't know. It was just.
It's just a little weird.
It felt a little half baked.
Yes,
that's all.
Just for a twist.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's fine. Whatever. I didn't mind it as much. Like when they did reveal, I thought even the effects, like sometimes when they do those effects of the cyborg, half man, half machine, can look cheesy. And I felt like the art direction was great. Like I felt like it looked good. The effects were believable. I didn't love Planet of the Incels because I feel like we know it's a Planet of the Incels, but you don't need to tell us it's Planet of the Incels. It's not even it's Planet of Incel, like
of
really.
One incel.
Right.
But if you're going to go down that path, do something with it instead of just pointing at it. That's all that they did was point at it. So it was fine.
Well, I mean, I think they did something with it, right? Because it's like a commentary on people like that want to own things and control things, and they want things a certain way, and then they get mad at women because they're not giving them what they want, and they want control, and it's all about control. And
no, I get that.
So but that part.
But what are they? But what are they telling us about that? They're just pointing at it. Hey, this is a thing that exists. That's all that it was.
Well, if you follow that through, Dan, you will find that you are alone. You are covered in metal. You've got freaking implants in your head to get the latest download.
Okay. Sure.
You're gonna wreck your life on. I don't know. Shallow or not. That part to me is. I get it. Just you don't need to tell me what it is. You're showing me what it is. Like you don't need to like be so overt about it.
I'm just laughing because we already had this conversation.
We did. It's fine.
Yeah, that's great. But I agree with the effects of it all. The very the Wiz sort of Wizard of Oz was cool.
Definitely Wizard of Oz.
But like the Wiz version, because like the very mechanical face thing, I really did like that. He looked cool whenever they revealed him on the inside, like you said. There's also the scene when it's showing like we're gonna be wed and welded together, and the graphics. Someone pointed this out online. It was very much like Superman 3's graphics of describing how the two are going to get welded together. I think that's just a funny thing. I don't know if that was intentional, but it stuck out to me as being like everything else looks so good, and this is very like 8-bit graphics of that was very funny to me. Fantastic.
I have a note that says Alan gets polished. I don't know what I meant
because
by
he turned into a sperm and an egg, and then the polish.
Oh, he got polished. Okay, yes,
he got polished.
I'm thinking like, was there a scene where people were just polishing him? But you're right. That was a great way for him to end his life.
Right. So we got the doctor. He's got the original. Well, not the original. He's got the star diploma, whatever he calls it. But he's got hers, and he's got Alan's got his, and he holds it out. And they're reading that his every ninth word is saying that he wants to die. That please kill me. So was he actually expecting her to take hers and touch his? Because it wasn't set. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. So he's there, all held up, and he takes his out, and he says, "Come and touch it." Okay, but the doctor's the one that has her copy and puts it on the ground, and the sweeper bot just happens to pick it up and bring it to her, and then she gets up and walks over. So it must have been his plan to do that, because he could have stopped her at any time, seeing that she was coming with it. So what was that?
Let me help you with this by saying,
yeah,
this is also in my notes. I don't think this really makes any sense. Like, are they just adding that to make it okay that he dies? That he wanted to die? Because he is in control. We see in the flashback, he starts this thing. He starts executing people. So why is he waiting every ninth word to say what he really feels? Just say what you really feel. You could tell all the robots.
They were saying that he's on whatever it was, like an 8-word cycle with the robots, but he was only free every ninth word. So I don't know what that was about.
What does that mean?
Does say that
like the robots weren't controlling him. He was I took it that he was controlling the robots, right? The robots thought that he was the owner of this star. So they elevated him. He got hooked into the machinery.
But at that point, did he become
It's not like there is an AI. If there was an AI that he was hooked into that was actually the generative AI, and the AI was controlling what was left of Alan, then I would say, okay, that makes sense. But they establish it's not. It's just Al. It's not AI. So isn't he the AI? Isn't he the intelligence?
I mean, I think, you're right. I don't think they explain that fully, but I think that's what they're pointing at, is that once he became part of this thing, he no longer had his own control, because now he's running the entire thing, and it's part.
But who's controlling if there's not an artificial intelligence controlling
the system, man? The system took over, and he's part of it.
I just sort of brushed that aside and was like,
I think you have to.
He's going to die, so it has to be like a mercy killing almost.
Yes, 100%.
Whatever, it's fine.
But
I still
was
liked
he?
it. Yeah, and maybe I'm just being dense.
Telling her to kill him, but with the two touching.
I don't know. And how did I mean, they established like, hey, in TV and film, like if you have two objects that exist, they can't exist unless they go boom, and so they touch them together.
Yeah, I mean, they set that up in the beginning.
They just can't exist in the same space. They don't necessarily have to touch just by being in the same dimension.
The doctor, when the atoms that are actually
when they're in the same place,
each other. But I think he says anyway, they explode.
He does. He definitely explains it. I'm just saying, for me, I didn't think the two items could exist in the same time.
Well,
at all, regardless of whether it's in the same physical space, but in the same time.
Now we're learning the rules of this part of the universe. The effects of when the explosion happens and they go through and kind of get all trippy was kind of fun. You get the whole, the doctor runs up and grabs her and starts absorbing the excess energy, I guess, of it, and he says he got shot like a bullet through her time, through her life, which was kind of fun. You get to see her old. He's holding her as a baby.
Yes. Same thing with him. And that reminded me of Led Zeppelin, Song Remains the Same. We've all seen Jimmy Page go back from the old man, the old hermit with the lantern, down to a little baby. You ever see Song Remains the Same? What's great about Song Remains the Same is they spent like a lot of money clearly on cocaine, but also some money on the effects. So you see like the aging down of the hermit on the hill. That's just like dun, dun, and then Jimmy Page is playing his bow, and then when it gets to like younger Jimmy Page, they just start showing in photographs from his like school, like they just give up on making the old man look younger, and they're just like, just put a picture of him from 5th grade up here, and it sort of loses a little bit of the illusion.
That's great.
But I like
one
I
thing
like
with this
the
too.
backward stuff, the time thing.
Someone mentioned this also online that I thought was pretty funny. It's reminiscent, if you recall, classic Doctor Who, the third Doctor in the episode Inferno. We made several gifs of this where the Doctor's like, I forget what he's trying to do. All I can remember is the effect of him like going like this, and, the screen keeps like wobbling. We'll put the gif in here. You'll see it. It's great.
I don't have any more notes other than I did really enjoy it. I
mean, we didn't really talk about the end. I mean, we did a little bit, but the whole, you scanned my DNA without my permission. You're dangerous. All of that stuff was really good. It was this kind of, this is a thing I did want to mention. I wanted to put a pin in it, and I'm going to pull that pin out.
Pull that pin out.
You had said, she saw the TARDIS outside the ship. She doesn't know what that is. But whenever they're wrapping all this up and they find out they're going to name this the Citadel for Sasha 55, that's great. And the Doctor's TARDIS comes up and he's kissing it. She says, "Is that your TARDIS?" She says TARDIS, and nowhere else in this episode does that word appear.
I didn't even pick up on that. She said, "I had to go back." TARDIS? Really?
Says yes. I had to go back. I looked at the transcript of it. I rewatched it. She says TARDIS before anyone else even says that word. So again, this is me falling into the trap of the previous season of reading into things that may have absolutely no meaning and don't pay off later. But it seems like she knew more about it than that. And when she goes inside, the whole like bigger on the inside thing, she seems to come to terms with that much faster than some other companions do. But
well, I thought they did a good job of the bigger on the inside scene. I felt like she looked, change it up. I feel like I fell for the trap then, because I felt that she was genuinely shocked when she went in and out. You're saying, or throwing a theory out,
just a theory,
that she already knows about, and she's pretending.
Or no. I'm just saying that maybe I didn't even read it as being like a conscious thing, because they don't hammer this. I mean, you didn't see it. I'm sure most people didn't kind of notice, but because they quickly moved past it. I'm wondering, is there something in the back of her mind, or now that he was shot through her timeline like a bullet, that it's gone both directions, and now she's picked up some information from him and didn't know that either. So I just feel like there's something bigger going on there.
Because when we did the age up, age down stuff, the future her would know a TARDIS. So like that, you're saying that maybe that seeps in.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's anything nefarious happening. I'm just saying that now we're getting clues that she knows, or something else bigger is happening. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. What else? Any other business at the end about the dangerous stuff? Yeah, because he
dangerous
does
stuff,
it without asking, which is a good point.
Well,
she's she's well versed in HIPAA compliance. I don't know if they have that in the UK.
They do. It's GDPR.
That's for like signing up for newsletters, isn't it?
Well, it's all personally identifiable information.
Okay, well there you go.
That's
So
anyway,
but that's something you don't think about. Like he's constantly scanning people, and he never never bothers asking for permission.
That's not great. We got the overuse of the cloister bells again, so that's playing in the background. Now they just don't mean anything. They're just cloister bells. Always happening.
I am very excited that it seems that he can't control the TARDIS. Well, I mean, I guess it's not that he can't control the TARDIS. He just can't go back to this thing, and then you see the Earth has died or been exploded or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with stuff like that. Like then it's like, okay, now we're gonna work this whole season to figure out why, as long as it pays off in some meaningful way. But what I was gonna say was I got so excited thinking they were going classic Who, and he can't control the TARDIS, and it's gonna send him all over the place, and the whole season is gonna be getting her home. But instead they went for like this big end of the world thing. If I had my own machine, I would say, no, let's have fun and just have it where he can't control it. And then she doesn't trust him because he's dangerous, and she's not sure if he's doing it on purpose, but he really can't fix it. He's got to fix it. And then maybe go to find the last remaining Time Lord, who happens to be Mrs. Flood, and she's the only one who knows how to fix it, or whatever. But no, we're not.
It'd be cool. But that's going to be the fan fiction you're going to write later. Last thing to point out that I have is, she's trying to get back to a particular date. They can't get to it, bouncing off. You see the Earth has exploded, the Statue of Liberty and Eiffel Tower and whatnot. There's the calendar. It's May 24th, 2025, which is the air date of the next to last episode of Doctor Who of the season. So we're going to be coming up to that. So it's an episode called Wish World. So that'll be May 24th of 2025 for realsies. Yeah. So
I have one other note.
They're really trying to set something up here that feels like it's important, and I'm really ready to have my heart broken. That's all I'm saying.
You will be disappointed.
Great.
No, I forgot to mention when we do the how did this all happen? Let's explain it all. Where they show the Alan landing for the first time.
Yes.
And then is that the one when Alan lands for the first time and then the guy's like, your technology is more advanced. It seems like it's at least 10 years.
Yeah.
It's such a weird, arbitrary, like, could you imagine, like, trying to figure out what in 10 years our technology, it was just a weird thing that he threw out an exact
10 years, right.
Time. This is at least 10 years away. What?
Right. No, it's definitely 9 years in the future. There's the 2 hours have passed for her, the 6 months for the doctor, 10 years for Alan. But then there was some point that they're talking about the robots got the star thing, and they went back 5,000 years and it became a foundational myth. But I don't know when that happened. Like, when did they swoop back to 5,000 years previously? So I missed. There's some piece that I didn't quite get there. But
where does this thing start? Because it only sort of exists when it's all happening at once, right?
Yeah. So anyway, but there was all of that led up to it. Anyway, yep. Whoop.
That's it, man. We're done. We have I guess a week from today. Yesterday is the next one. What's the next one called? Joy to the World? No, that was the previous one. I don't know what the next one's called. Doesn't matter. We have to watch it. But I am pleasantly surprised. This was a good start. Next episode looks cool because it has that like very cool art style. It looks like that, like like an old 1920s or 30s cartoon style, right? Is that the early Mickey Mouse type stuff, like that game Cuphead has that style?
Yeah, very Cuphead. That's exactly what it looks like.
I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Until then,
all right.
See us in a week.
Until we talking about Laura Palmer.
Where's my robot?